I played Division I basketball at the University of Texas, and I played 8 years professionally overseas in Europe. And after retirement, I still felt broke, lost, and low-key ashamed. In this video, I'm going to be telling the truth about my retirement. I'm going to tell you about why I'm starting Earnie's Escape Plan and what I'm really escaping from. What's up, you guys? My name is Earnie Williams, and I played 5 years at the Division I level at University of Texas in Austin, Texas. And I played 8 years professionally overseas, traveling around the world. I played in Portugal, Spain, Ecuador, Puerto Rico, Romania, Sweden, France, Australia, China. I played all over the world, mostly in Europe. And I am 7 years into my retirement. I'm 38 and I'm turning 39 soon in April. I'm going to be sharing my journey of what life after sports has been like, it's looked like, and what I'm going to create it into moving through 2026, 27, and on. Okay. So I know a lot of athletes really aren't able to connect with athletes that have been already in their shoes if they're playing their same sport overseas or professional, amateur, whatever levels. Even when I was in college, nobody really told us what life after sports really meant and what that really would look like and the obstacles that you're going to run into. I don't remember anybody coming back to say, hey, this is what you're going to run into. This is how you should prepare for it. This is how you should handle it. And I want to be that coach that I never had for y'all, for different athletes, sports coaches, anybody that can, listen to this and have value for themselves, their kids, their students that they're teaching. I just hope that this impaction gives you value. The fantasy I had about retirement was that I would retire with a lot of money, would play an awesome, lovely career as a women's basketball professional. I would go overseas, I would play for great teams, and then I would get seen by the WNBA, but that never, ever happened. I didn't make a lot of money. Honestly, the highest monthly contract I got was $3,000 USD. A whopping $3,000 USD. And that wasn't even better than a teacher. I made less money as a professional basketball player than a US teacher. How crazy is that? Demoralizing a little bit. I wish I would have had somebody to tell me, hey, $3,000 USD a month is not a lot of money. The reality is you're broke and you are playing your professional sport that you thought you would make a lot more money, but you're not. Right. I also wish I would have had some type of mentor to say that, hey, it's okay to make this amount of money, continue to be better in your sport, and continue to increase that per month, per contract, any way that you can. But while you're overseas playing the sport that you love, save some of that money, start to learn how to invest some of that money, stocks, and maybe every year you work on how do you buy a property? How do you own a piece of land so that by the end of your 8-year career, you have 8 pieces of land or you have 8 types of different properties that are residential properties. And now when you retire, you have a little bit of a net worth and you don't have $0 in the bank. I wish somebody would have told me something, one of them. And so even though there's the NIL and players and college on making money, they're able to get brand deals from their name, image, and likeness. That's only still a top 1%, top 3%. It's specifically for certain sports that are getting a majority of the money. So what about the 97%? What about the other athletes that are walk-ons that don't get a lot of playing time that, still aren't posting, but they are developing their story right now on the D1 bench, on the D2, JUCO, NAIA level of their sport. Every athlete has a story and every athlete has an experience to leverage when they get ready to retire, graduate from college, or even still go on to play. It doesn't matter what level. Everybody has intellectual property. Everybody has something that they can start selling and making money from. And you don't have to use your body. You don't have to use your body after you graduate or retire from professional level sports. You can use your mind. And I wish someone would have told me that so that while I was playing for 8 years, having so much time, practices like 3 to 5 hours a day, or doing something that has to do with basketball, whether it's film, working out, the actual practice. It's not a lot of time. If you do 2 hours in the morning, two or 3 hours at night, you got the whole day. I was Netflix and chilling. I was playing PlayStation, but I wasn't learning how to create websites. I wasn't learning how to invest. I wasn't learning any other skills. I wasn't learning how to create money with assets with my mind. And so that's 8 years down the drain, which I super regret. But hey, I didn't know any better. And so this is why I'm creating this YouTube channel, is to share my stories of what worked for me as an athlete, what didn't, what I didn't know, and what I know now to do. I want to share and pass that on to y'all. The number one thing I want you to know is that you are smart, you're intellectual. You have to use your intellectual property and your creativity to build the wealth that you want. And you absolutely deserve it. I wasn't told that I deserved money. Didn't have conversations about money growing up in my family, or even during playing college ball, even playing professionally. And I had to go search for that information when I retired. Okay. So I'm telling you, search for the information, but you got this. You should be $1 million athlete, whether you sat the bench the whole time or you were a walk-on. I don't care. It is possible and you should have it. So when it comes to retirement, I had to retire because of my body. My body said, girl, we done. My mind said, oh, I'm just getting the hang of this. Like, I am being more efficient with my time. I don't have to do so much to score. I don't have to do so much to be efficient and still a number one player in my league or my team. But my niece said, okay, that's good. We're done though. So you can say bye-bye. So I had to retire from a sport I loved, and it was so hard. I would say 2018 and 2019, I had to retire. I hated it. I didn't want to. I felt so ashamed. I got cut from the team in Australia because I was overweight and my knee actually wasn't doing well. That was the case for my whole career, issues with knees, injuries, and everything like that. And so I dealt with that. And I was just broken down. I didn't know what to do. I felt ashamed to have to come home, and it wasn't my choice. But I had to come home. I had to live with my mother for a while and try to get on my feet and figure out what was next. I didn't know what a resume was. I didn't have networking skills or connections from LinkedIn, and I wasn't already being put into a job opportunity. I went right into coaching AAU and trying to make money with private training and things like that. And it worked for a little bit, but then I didn't know have business skills and marketing skills to continue to run a business. So I quit. I didn't know what to do. I had to get a job. And I got my first corporate job, which was a pretty cool gig, but it didn't pay much. I went to work for Dell on the sales side. There was an 8-week program to get into there, learn about some of the data center equipment they had. But I wasn't taught actual sales skills, but hey, I got a job. And I remember getting offered like $60K. And I was like, okay, that's not bad. That's, I guess, a little bit more than what I've been making. I didn't realize that the $60K had a sales split. And so a lot of times in sales jobs, what they say they'll pay you is not actually what you're going to be getting. You have commission. And so the sales split was like a 60-40 or something like that. And I didn't realize, right? So I actually was making $2,000 a month in 2 paychecks. And so that was the first time, the first corporate real job, great company, but it dawned on me that I don't want to work for 20 or 30 years in one company just to make decent money and be able to feed myself and move out of my mom's apartment. So it was in like 2019 when I first really started to learn about real estate and investing and trying to make more money. And so I just kind of went on this path of lots of podcasts and lots of information about financial literacy. I was also depressed. Not every athlete goes through depression, but I went through depression because I didn't take the time to really mourn the loss of my lifestyle, traveling overseas, being out of the States. One of the best experiences as a 21-year-old to 30 is to get out of the States and go travel the world, go learn about different cultures. So that lifestyle, somebody being able to pay for my ticket internationally, gone. Make a little bit of money from doing what I love, getting buckets, dunking on people's heads, gone. The identity of being a professional athlete. Now I can't say I'm a professional athlete anymore. That's gone. Now I'm bored. Like regular life is boring. And I know if you're an athlete, you get it. I know when you graduate and you go on to regular life, it's great because you have all this time and it's like, okay, so what is this about? And especially as a professional athlete, when you retire and you go into normal life, it's like, this is a hugely different. If you're not able to do the career that you really want to do and you have to go into corporate world, it's a different experience. And that's what I felt. I felt bored. I felt trapped and depressed. And to add to that, not only was I broke and not making a lot of money, in my career, now I gotta come home to the US and really be broke. And now I gotta pay for stuff. Like when you're overseas, you're able to pocket most of that money if you're not spending it on clothes and whatever. Because you get a couple meals for free, you get your apartment for free. Most of the transportation is for free. People are picking you up. Like you're not having to spend a lot of money, but when you make the same amount of money or less and you come to the States and you have to get a car and you have to pay for gas and you got to get groceries on your own, you got to cook them and you got to pay for your apartment, you really start to understand how much money you don't have and where you are. Every time you pay all of your bills and you've got $100 left, you got $300 left, you got $500 left. I've never had 14 days seem so long when I started coming back to the US and having to work corporate jobs and just also having to work other jobs. I've been a Uber driver, DoorDasher, Lyft driver. I've been a Lyft scooter mechanic. I've driven for Amazon and delivered packages. I have worked front desk cryotherapy clinics. I've done it all, and it all was not for me. But I understood that very quickly, and then I understood how I need to figure out what it is that I can make money at. And so that has taken me a long time. There's a lot of mistakes I made and a lot of moments where I had an opportunity, but I didn't really understand it and I didn't take advantage of it. But it's okay because I didn't know. And I'm going to share those on this channel with you so that you don't make those mistakes if you are in that same position I was in my life. All right. So why is this channel called Ernie's Escape Plan? Well, number one, I'm Ernie. I'm your girl E. You can call me E. And I'm escaping. This is my escape plan. I'm going to share with you what I'm doing, my life, how I'm going to live my life at the same time, trying to build my business, trying to follow my dreams and create my career, ultimate career, and dream life of being financially free and not having to paycheck to paycheck anymore. I want to get out of that lifestyle. And I hope that what I'm sharing, the raw, real truth, is going to impact somebody and it's going to help y'all. So escaping the matrix that they call of having to work and give your time away for a little bit of pay, basically, is how I think about it. The matrix is you are just a cog in the wheel. You are just a number. And it's kind of like living an average life. And we all know that athletes like you and me, we're not average. We are achievers and we're overachievers. And there's a mountain that we need to keep climbing. And so we just got to know how to climb that mountain so we can do it. And the thing is, escaping from the current life that I have right now, and I'm trying to escape to my dream life like a lot of people are. There's a lot of people in a life of stress, financial stress, number one, health stress, relationship stress, just all over their life is stressful. That is the matrix too. I want to travel out of that so that I'm not having the same problems. I don't have a financial problem when it comes to getting your car fixed, right? Or if you need a health scan, and not worry about how much it costs because it doesn't matter and you have it. And so there's just a lot that I'm trying to escape from, as a lot of people in the world are, is just to be able to have peace. I want to escape to a peaceful life where money's not a problem and I can buy organic food and not be broke. I'm telling the truth, and this is super vulnerable for me. But I know there's a lot of me's out there that feel like they're lost. And there's a lot of athletes that are going to be in the same position, but I don't want you to. That's why I'm sharing this. Escaping the matrix also means doing work that lights you up, doing work that challenges you and builds you, not doing work that is for somebody else or it just doesn't help you anyway. Not clocking in 9 to 5, not having to ask, can I go to the dentist or can I go to the doctor or can I have a mental health day? I don't want to ask for that. I'm tired of asking for that. We'd had to ask for days off and advocate for ourselves in our athletic lives and careers. And even that was hard to do, but we did it when we could. And if you had a little leverage, top player, you could probably work with that. You know what I'm saying? But when you come home to corporate life, in the real life after sports, and you have to ask for everything because you're tied to the job and somebody has to give you permission. It doesn't feel very good. I don't need permission, right? So I want to work with people that have the same grind as me. Just as athletes, we want to be on a great team. If you play a team sport, you want to be on a banging team. You want to have a leader above you that you can rock with. You can follow, you can run through the wall for, because they got you and they know you got them. When you go to corporate a little bit, from my experience, it ain't not like that. It ain't like sports. There's not a lot of teamwork happening. And that was not a great environment for me to be in, because it made me selfish. It made me be like, I'm about to get mine. I'm about to get my points. Bump that. Because it's about money. And you're not getting paid that well sometimes, you know? So that's an issue too. I want to be able to work with people I want to work with, create and do the things that I want to do and get paid for. And then learning how to create your own payday. One of my favorite coaches, Sonia Stribling, says, you should be able to create your payday. How would it feel to create a payday with your intellectual property of what you know and being creative? Let's say, hey, I need $10,000 because I want to go buy my partner some huge gift for our anniversary. That means I can create a digital product, or I can create a course, or I can create a program that gives so much value that I think and I believe I can make $10,000 in the next 30 days. I can make $10,000 in the next 60 days or in the next 24 hours. I've been working on this thinking, I'm still working on it now, but what if somebody could have told me, you can make $10,000 in 7 weeks? How? What? What if somebody would have told you that when you played overseas and when you had 8 hours a day when you're doing nothing? Do you know how creative your mind would have gotten? How dialed in you would have gotten? Crazy. So this is what I'm escaping to. Overall, is peace and the ability to go enjoy life. Okay? Enjoy life. So if you're an athlete and if you ever felt off, you've ever felt lost, you've ever felt like this life after sports sucks, it does. That's okay. It's okay to feel that way, but we got to use our time. We have to leverage what we already know to get ahead and continue to put the people around you that have more success than you and learn from those individuals. Make sure your circle is filled with people that understand where you want to go and are going to be your cheerleaders and not your naysayers. They're going to hold you accountable to the things that you want. And those are people that you can count on, and continue to build yourself, your heart, and keep chasing your dreams and don't stop. There's going to be days where you want to give up. You want to throw the towel in. You want to walk off the court and be like, I ain't running no more. I'm tired. You might break down and cry. I've done it many times. But don't quit. Just come back and get it going. Pick up the ball and keep shooting. I'm out. Peace.